Hello beautiful girls, welcome back to another video. If this is the first video you're watching, I'm Sophia. I love talking about inner work, confidence for women, mindset, feminine energy, and beauty and radiance, all of the things that are going to help us become the best version of ourselves. And we have opportunities every single day to learn, to become wiser, and this is the type of education that I love the most, because when you do that inner work every single day, years later, you are going to be a changed person. You are going to continue to build your mindset, and it is the greatest asset you can have. I love this topic, and at the same time, it's hard to talk about because it resonates with me so deeply. But I'm hoping that my advice, what I am telling you, that you can feel these in your own situations, you can hear what I'm saying, resonate it to the situations in your life, and help to use it so that every single time in the future, if you feel disrespect from another woman, or this idea of this woman hates me for no reason, that this can help you. I will start by saying this is something I've experienced my whole life. I was bullied all throughout elementary school and even middle school with girls too. Girls were just very mean. I always wondered, I don't know why I'm not doing anything. I remember in elementary school, my mom used to have to go across the street to talk to the neighbor mom about me and the bullies. And my parents would have to meet with the bully's parents, the other girl's parents, to talk about how bad it was, talk about how badly I was being affected. I never understood it as a kid. I never understood it. All I knew was that it was just something that happened. It felt weird. I felt wrong. I didn't know what I was doing wrong. And I look back and realized that there was nothing that I was doing wrong. Some of these girls even grew up and would tell me, yeah, Sophia, I was just jealous of you. That's the only reason I was mean to you, and I'm sorry. I had these girls apologize to me. To have those women admit that really showed me the root of this, which is the jealousy and the envy. That's a huge point that I want to get into. So in my over 2 decades of living, I have cemented 2 reasons for why a woman will disrespect another woman, why a woman will hate and envy another woman. And the first reason is envy. Like I said before, envy. What is envy? Envy is when you have some insecurity in yourself, something that you have not healed, a wound that you have not healed. And so when you see another woman that has things that you want or you like, you don't want her to have it. You want to take it away from her, maybe even sabotage her, say mean things about her and make her look bad because she triggers you. She triggers that insecurity you have within. That's envy. So what are some of the things that women can envy? The most common ones: beauty. It triggers her to see you beautiful. We are born with this competition, this competitive mindset of other women just because of our evolution, because of wanting to procreate, and you're more likely to attract a mate the more physically attractive you are as a woman. And so that's the first thing, is beauty. Another one is intelligence. Intelligence can be something that a woman is envious of, because intelligence is, again, another desirable, attractive trait. And then another one is youth. I realized that throughout elementary school and middle school, I was bullied and disrespected by girls my own age, in my grade, for envy of beauty, intelligence, whatever. But as you get older, when you mature, you will start to feel this from older women, and specifically older women. Why is this? Youth. Youth is something you never get back. Youth is something that we admire, something that we put so much value on. Why do you think women get plastic surgery? Why do you think women get Botox? Why do you think women get cosmetic procedures to make them look younger? Because we value youth, and it's something that you can't turn back time. So youth is something that women are very envious of, especially older women to younger women. When you get to this mature age, you're no longer a little kid. An older woman is much less likely to be envious of a little girl. She can't be envious of a tiny little girl that hasn't even matured to have womanly beauty, right? But once you hit this age of adulthood, older women will envy you. And it's the youth aspect that is part of that. Now, a woman can also envy your kindness, because maybe she has not fully integrated kindness into her life. Maybe the way she speaks towards other people is harsh and rude. She sees your softness, she sees your light, she sees your kindness towards others, and it makes her feel something that maybe she hasn't felt before or felt in a long time. And all she knows is that it is uncomfortable. Number 2, there's a man involved. That's it. That's number 1. Number 2, envy. Number 1. Number 2, there's a man involved. Again, comes down to the competition. Why? Because if a woman sees you with a man that she wants, or maybe she just admires your relationship, there's probably a part of her that has not had that before. Maybe you have a beautiful relationship, your man cherishes you, worships you, treats you so well, and this other woman may have had a toxic relationship, or she may have not had a man do that for her, and so she wants to take that away from you. She doesn't want you to have it. There could be a man involved and you and another woman are almost competing for this man. And now I've gone through a situation where I really liked this guy. I really liked him. I thought he was very attractive, funny, and there was another woman involved. And the second that I found out there was another woman involved, I left. It was the hardest thing I could have done at the time. I thought it was the hardest thing I could have done. I left. And boy, am I so glad that I left, because I knew in my heart, I have no hate towards this other woman. There's another woman involved with this man's life. A man will choose me if he wants to choose me. That was me stepping into my feminine energy. The feminine energy does not chase, it attracts. If you are in the situation where envy is appearing because of a man, it's different if he's your boyfriend because he's chosen you and there's another woman who is envious of that. That's your responsibility to go on throughout your life, be with your boyfriend and have him protect you from that type of behavior. Honestly, if he sees another woman who is envious of your relationship, he's gonna not like that there's disrespect in the first place and just be like, why would I go in that direction? But if this is a situation where the man is not in a relationship, he's single, you like this guy and another girl likes him too, this is where the envy comes in. And this is where there's this weird competition that you may feel. And the best thing you can do as a woman, if you feel you are liking a guy and another woman likes him, he's single, you both like him, you have to be the one to leave. It's the most secure thing that you can do. And in that, when you leave, you are teaching yourself a few things. First of all, you're teaching yourself that you are secure enough in yourself to not need male validation. Second of all, you are teaching yourself that you do not compete with women. You love women. You see the light in women and you will never compete with one, because if you're at the point where you have to compete with another woman for a man's attention, you've already lost. The best thing and the hardest thing I did, almost felt heartbreaking, was liking a guy so much, but when there was another girl involved, I said, you can have him. You can have him because I'm not going to fight with you. No, I love women. I'm not going to fight with them. And I'm never going to let a man take away from my love for myself and other women. If another woman wants to compete with me, if she wants to compete with you for him, let her do it. Let her do it. Be the more mature one. Be the one to leave and protect your peace. I've been studying jealousy and envy and female competition a lot recently, and something that I've realized that I never knew before is that jealousy and envy are a lot different. They're not the same. Jealousy is actually biological, and I'll tell you why. Jealousy is shown in infants from the second that they are born. When you have a baby playing with the mom's playing with the baby, giving the baby lots of attention, you'll notice that if the mom picks up a baby doll, or the mom even gives attention to another kid, the baby's gonna cry. The baby's going to get angry and cry because all it knows, in its instinctual nature, all it knows is my mom's not here, I'm gonna die, I need my mom. It's a bonding, it's a threat to the bond. That is jealousy rooted in our biology. In our evolutionary biology, we have that type of jealousy. Again, the baby's not trying to be a bad baby. All it knows is that my mom's not here, I'm jealous. That's what the jealousy is. And so that type of jealousy is actually normal in adulthood too. This is the same reason why if you are in a very secure relationship, you could be a very confident, secure woman. If there is another woman that your man is getting close to, it's a good, normal feeling to not feel comfortable if the man that has chosen you, the man that you are bonded with for procreation, is very close to another woman, another straight, single woman. It's not healthy for you and it's not healthy for your relationship. This is something that's controversial, and it's something that I believe is, I don't have close male friends. All I would need is my partner. All I need is my man. He's my one source of masculine energy, and that is all I need. That, and then my dad. And if you have a healthy father figure, that would be your dad. But this is where natural jealousy comes into play. It's just about our nature of bonding is coming out to protect you, to keep that bond safe, to keep this man with you, hypothetically, throughout the birth of your children and throughout the lifespan of your children, to have this man there to protect you, provide for you, and raise your children. That's a natural jealousy. Now, where envy is different is envy is seeing another woman and wanting to actually take away from her, actually hating that she has it, hating that she has things like beauty, love, radiance, a good relationship, youth. All of these things are envy. That is not rooted in our nature, and it is a very unhealthy expression of wounds. So I'll go into some of the shadow work a little bit later about jealousy, because we can actually work through that ourselves as women. But I just wanted to make that very clear that envy and jealousy are different, and we can actually envy and jealousy show up a lot of times at the same exact time. So you don't actually know what envy and jealousy look like different from each other, but they are very different things. So with the nervous system activation, you will feel around a woman that envies you very uncomfortable. I remember, oh my goodness, let me give you an example. I remember working my lifeguarding job, and I had this manager who was very nice and respectful to me at first, and then her true colors started to come out. She started to mistreat me a lot. She would make me do tests to test my abilities of diving skills and all of these things, which of course a manager should teach you on. But I was jumping in the water, practicing saves, and if something was off, just a little thing, like I was 1 second off of grabbing this kid to save them, I was 1 second off of getting out of the pool in time, she would make me redo the whole thing. And this happened probably 3 times in a row. I was exhausted to the point where I was almost crying in my voice. And she was saying, "You have to do it again, Sophia." And looking at her eyes, I saw something that changed. I saw, it makes me uncomfortable to say, like, pleasure in her eyes of seeing me in pain. It's a weird sadistic nature of extreme envy, is when you're so hurt, the only thing that will make you feel better is bringing other women down, because it somehow lowers your insecurity just a little bit. It's very sad. It's very sad to see, and it's very hurtful to women. And so this was crazy for me. I remember getting out of the pool, almost crying, when finally she let me leave. She finally let me be done. Keep in mind, my other male manager, I've never experienced the same amount of disrespect from males that I have women. In fact, I think only 2 cases I can think in my life throughout all of my existence, I've actually felt heavy disrespect from males. Maybe more than that, but only 2 I can think of right now at the top of my mind. It's always been more from women. But this other male lifeguard manager, he made me do it once. Maybe it wasn't perfect, but he said, "All right, Sophia, you're good." So it just shows envy is cruel. It really is cruel, and I'm sorry if you're experiencing it, but you can do the inner work to help you get through this. And with our nervous systems, you're always going to notice that your nervous system is firing off when you're in the presence of someone that is disrespecting you or hating you or envious of you. You suddenly get very anxious. You feel that you're going to do something wrong, that you're going to mess up. Feelings of fear and unworthiness, possibly too. That's your nervous system activating to protect you and keep you safe. In fact, if you are a woman that is full of self-love and compassion, you are going to have your cup full of self-love. The greatest thing you can have is feeling love. But when someone doesn't match that, when someone doesn't match the respect that you're going to give them, it sets off your nervous system, because your body's saying, "This is unfamiliar to me. Disrespect and envy is unfamiliar to me. It's not how I live. It's not how I respect other people." It's almost like feeling threatened by a predator is the same way that I can describe what happens to my nervous system. If I'm walking out at night and I see a suspicious man and he starts walking towards me, my heart is beating. I am getting nervous. I'm starting to tremble because I'm in fight or flight mode. Our body cannot tell the difference between being chased by a bear or seeing a suspicious man walking at night towards us from emotional distress, from disrespect from another woman that caused us that same anxiety or fear. Our body doesn't know the difference because it senses and it feels what our mind puts into it. So our mind, we have this long nerve, it's called the vagus nerve, and it goes all the way from our brain down through our chest and down in our body. That is what's connected to our amygdala, which is where we feel fear, anger, all these emotions. When that amygdala fires off, if you're in the presence of an envious woman or anyone who makes you feel unsafe and uncomfortable emotionally, it connects this this spark goes through that vagus nerve from your mind to your body. That's why you get stomach wrench fear. That's why you feel these alarm flags go off in your body around someone like that, because your mind is trying to connect to your body, and it can't tell the difference between that predator or just emotional pain, which might not even be life-threatening. But our body doesn't know that. Our body only feels that it's life-threatening. And so this is the power of mistreatment, which is why it's so important to talk about envy and cruelty that women will give to another woman, because it's deeply harmful. And so we need to be aware of it, why it happens, what's going on in our body in order to recover from that. In the same way that an envious woman is activating your nervous system and your fear, you're actually triggering their nervous system, but not in the same way. You're triggering their nervous system because it is a threat to that competitive nature in them. It is a threat to who they are and the identity they've put on themselves. Because a lot of times, behind all these feelings of envy is unhealed wounds. It's equally as important to understand that knowing that this comes from her own pain and wounds, equally important to understand that you can never, ever let your empathy override that and excuse the behavior. Everyone feels pain. We all feel pain. You're going to go through very painful experiences in your life. I have. Every single woman has felt pain. Every single human has felt pain. But not everyone chooses cruelty as the outlet. Not everyone chooses envy as the outlet. Some do and some don't. There's no one's pain who's worse than others. We all have pain. But the way that we choose to handle it is so important. That's why you're watching this video. If you're doing the inner work, you are choosing the route to emotional safety and security and fulfillment. Because it's hard sometimes to heal these wounds, to even look back at them and relive them. Our body will replay things because to us, we are actually replaying bad situations when we've been mistreated by other women in order to protect ourselves, because our body is constantly thinking. Think back to our ancestry when we were living in huts outside and we were thinking of situations. Okay, if this bear chases me, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab this weapon. I'm going to run in this direction. I'm going to grab my baby, go here. We are thinking of situations to protect us. The same thing happens with our past experiences, I believe, because this has happened to me. And we replay situations that no longer exist. It's in our past. There's no point in replaying them unless we're actively thinking of them once and then trying to heal. Replaying them is trying to protect us because our body's now thinking, this is how I should have reacted. This is the safest way I should have done that. This is what I should have done in that moment. Should have, could have, would have. We're thinking of things to protect ourselves. But I've talked about this in my recent videos on Instagram. Humans are born addicted to suffering, but we can choose to be addicted to abundance instead. The suffering comes from our natural nature of wanting to protect ourselves, thinking of situations which we suffer in order to plan out the best solution, the optimal solution to our safety. But now in modern day society, we don't have the suffering of worrying about being chased by a bear. We're living in homes, most of us. We have the abundance and safety of living in a house, having access to food, even having a job. That is safety. So what is our modern day suffering? It is emotional distress. It is created self-created stress. That's why we replay these hard situations in our life, because some part of our instinctual mind is addicted to that suffering. But you can reject that and say, no, I'm not addicted to suffering. I'm going to be addicted to abundance. I've realized, and I've been so conscious of catching myself when I replay hard situations, things that have caused me the most pain. I say, Sophia, no, stop that. You can feel those emotions. You can feel those emotions and move on, but thinking about them again and again is not constructive. It's just not. It's not constructive because we could be thinking about so many other things. I say, thank you, mind, for trying to protect me, but I am safe. I am okay. Take a few deep breaths, say, I am safe. I am okay. My past is not my present moment. My present moment, I am safe. I am existing in my body in safety. That is prime connection to your feminine energy. A prime example is this existence in the present. The feminine energy does not want to be stuck in the past, and the feminine energy certainly does not want to be worried about the future. That's living in anxiety. The feminine energy lives in the being. It lives in the present moment. It feels in the body. It lives in the body. Connecting to that, feeling this connection to your feminine energy in the present moment removes you from situations of the past, and it helps you heal. It's not to neglect the past, but it is to say, this was my past, I accept it, I forgive, and now I'm moving on. I am moving on to abundance and the beauty of life. Say this for every situation where you have felt envy and hate from another woman, emotional abuse from another woman. That is the inner work that we're starting to do. The best thing that I can say with situations with these women, I luckily, the jobs that I've worked at, all those jobs, every single job, by the way, has always had a female manager or an older woman that has disrespected me. It's insane. Every single job. I've had a lifeguarding job. I've had 3 restaurant jobs with that experience. And I've had 1 cashiering job with that experience. That's already 5. I'm not gonna list off the rest. You guys get the idea. My experience is just to show you that I understand you. I know what you're going through. It's hard, it really hurts, but there's beauty on the other side because your mind is able to create that beauty. We can create that beauty. You choose to create that beauty. Luckily for me in my past with my jobs, they've always been temporary. They're just side hustle jobs and I've always been able to get out of them and move on to new environments. The best thing to do is to leave. I understand too, and I do believe that to an extent, we make what our environment is. If we treat other people with disrespect, if we come off to everyone as angry, if we yell at everyone, random strangers, whoever it may be, we are creating our environment. How do you think people are going to react to you yelling at them? How do you think people are going to react to you disrespecting them? Versus, I moved to a new city. I treat every waitress with respect. I walk up to every clothing store talking to the people working there with kindness and respect. I'm going to attract that abundance right back to me. They are going to reciprocate that same love to you because you're creating that environment. But if there's a continuous envy, if there's a continuous cruelty, continuous disrespect, continuous feeling in your body that this is not safe, your body's never going to lie to you, and you always need to listen to that. You are subconsciously communicating to yourself that you don't fully respect yourself if you're not willing to remove yourself from bad environments. You're subconsciously communicating to yourself that you are not worth healthy, vibrant, thriving environments. You are worthy of that. You just have to tell yourself that and live through that. Pull yourself out of bad situations. Now, I wanted to get into the shadow work real quickly too. What is the shadow side of us? The shadow side of us is the part that we are very shameful of, and we all have it. You have it and I have it. It's the part that we are ashamed to admit. That could be jealousy. Now, I've talked about other women envying you. What if you feel jealousy towards another woman? If you have ever in your life felt jealous towards another woman, that's okay to think. Feelings are valid, behaviors are never. Feelings are valid, behaviors are never. That's what I always tell myself. And so I can feel something and not act on it. I can feel jealousy towards another woman, but if I never even disrespect that other woman, I still treat her with kindness, that's okay, because maybe that jealousy is you just awakening this desire to level up your life. If you feel that jealousy, ask yourself, what does this woman represent? What does she have? You want that beauty. You admire that beauty. Now you ask yourself, she represents this quality, beauty. What am I going to do? What makes me beautiful? Well, I take care of my physical health every day. I'm going to go to the gym every day. I'm going to eat healthy foods. I'm going to have a skincare routine. I'm going to wash my face every night, wash off my makeup, wash my pillowcases every few weeks. That can help you feel more beautiful. Beauty from the inside out. What does that look like? Well, you're journaling. You're constantly doing some sort of inner work. You are, again, what we're doing right now is inner work. You are analyzing yourself. You are analyzing things that sometimes are hard to analyze. That's how you become better. That's how you become the highest version of yourself. That's how you live on the highest frequency as a woman. That's how you live on the highest vibration. We all give off a vibration to other people. We all enter a room with a vibration and people can feel it. The same reason that I had this woman comment on one of my TikToks the other day. I've always wondered why if I walk into a room, sometimes a woman will look at me, just look me up and down with the dirty look for no reason. The woman who looks you up and down with the dirty look has never talked to you. She doesn't know you as a person. But what does she know? You're beautiful. Every single time that a woman envies you, disrespects you, gives you that dirty look, she is subconsciously telling you that you have power, that you have beauty. Because that's the only reason why she's looking at you like that. She doesn't know you. She's never talked to you, but she does see something, and that is beauty. She does feel something, and that's your energy. you never want to let someone take away your light. This is something I will say to all of you ladies towards the end of this video, is never let someone take away your light. You might be a woman that has a lot of light. I'll never forget this. When I was at my dining hall and there was always this chef who I was so nice to, I would always say, "Hi, Karen." Maybe I have videos of Karen and I together. She would always be making her southern dishes and she would say, "Hi, Sophia, how you doing?" And she was so sweet. And she said, "You are my sunshine," and just made my day. That was also in the midst of going through college, girls, a whole other topic, right? But at that point in college, I wasn't in the place to, I wasn't worried about the envy and stuff. I was really in my own lane. Never let people take away from that sunshine. Never let people take away from that light. The thing that I tell myself is, oh my goodness, if I feel my light being dimmed, if I feel my candlelight being blown out, what the heck am I going to do? I have to stop this. I am not going to let this light get blown out. It's my light. It's my life. It's my life force energy. Do not let that light dim. That gives so much power to another person who has maybe no good intentions with you, no liking for you, no love for you, no admiration or kindness or respect for you. Why in the world would you let that dim your light? That's what I've started to tell myself. So with that, thank you all for watching this video. I hope this helps you. I hope this is something that you can look back on and listen to when you're going through those hard times, or for your friends, anything. Always remember that you have infinite beauty in this world. No one can take away from it. And there's always going to be enough of it. There's always going to be plenty of it for you and every single other woman on this planet. We have a woman born every single day who's going to bring more light into this world. Let's lift up other women. Let's let their light shine. The same reason why if you ever see a woman, compliment her, tell her how beautiful she is if you feel it. You know how many times you've seen another woman and you've thought, wow, she's really pretty, but you've never said anything? Think of how many women have said the same thing for you, have thought the same thing for you. I love when women say that out loud because it shows so much security in yourself to be able to give beauty to another woman, admire another woman's beauty. It really shows that you have your cup full and that you believe you are beautiful yourself. What we see in ourselves, we will see in other people. It's a mirror effect. So with that, I love you ladies so much. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.